I love that ticker down below.
All right. Welcome to the live stream. You're here with Crypto Lifer and Crypto Muser. We're going to get into what's happening out here in the markets. We're going to talk mostly about XRP as it is seeming to form ripples through the market, as we always talk about. Big shakeup in the case. A lot of things happening as well with Bitcoin. Fear of war, all sorts of insane craziness going on. We're going to break it down. We're going to calm you down. We're going to talk about some things logically so you don't end up just covered in fear and FUD. And we're going to see what's going on throughout the world as well. So shout out to XRP Crypto Muser. Always call him XRP Muser from the beginning. And shout out to the XRP Army. Anyone out there from the XRP Army, tweet this out to your XRP Army friends. Let them know that we will show basically, almost once a week on XRP and kind of its interworkings in the market. How you been, man? How's your day going? How you feeling? How's everything been going with you and yours?
I'm good, man. I've been on my in my grind of like I wake up every morning, I go for my run, I drink my smoothie, I get my outline ready for my video, and I've just been on my daily grind every day, and it's been good since New Year's. I've been having this resolution to work on my health, work on my mental health and physical health, and honestly, it's been the best thing I ever did. So I feel great.
Excellent. Okay. I just heard some sound in the background. Okay. So, yeah, I'm hearing some, maybe it's me. All right. Anyway, so now what's going on with XRP? You're always kind of deep diving into it. It's a main focus of yours. And I just want to see what's happening. I definitely glanced at some new headlines. However, I didn't have time to deep dive. Bitcoin's been giving me hours and hours of work. I've been going at the market. We opened a short last night. We nailed it. I've been working extremely hard to be able to accurately predict where Bitcoin may or may not go. And or not, as a trader, you don't accurately predict, but you set certain parameters. And as you get better and better with oscillators and instruments, they become like them like your hand. And I've been getting closer and closer with the stochastics and how they feel. And I saw a lack of momentum last night. We couldn't get out of what was basically a bear flag, and highly likely we were going to break to the downside into that 38K area. So that's what happened. So what's up with XRP, man? What's been going down? It sounds exciting. I've only began to read, and as I started to read, I was like, wait, I just want to wait for the show so I feel what everyone else feels when I hear the news,
So it's been lively, to say the least, guys. So with this case, it's been going on for almost a year and 2 months now. So, there's been some lulls in the case where we haven't got any news, and then all of a sudden you'll get like, crazy amount of news in a small amount of time. So I've been trying to put up videos as best as I can, but it's been coming in the last couple days now. So it's basically it's coming to the end of the discovery phase of the case, which is both sides get their arguments together. They show it to the judge. Can we use this argument? Can we use this argument? We're going to get the depositions. We're going to bring people in for interviews under oath. That'll be evidence for the case. So basically, it's the discovery phase, and then it goes for summary judgment, where it's actually the court case itself, right? So right now, I think they've been delaying the discovery phase of this case. It was supposed to end last September. Now I think it's supposed to end at some point in March. I think it's March 14th, I want to say. But the last couple of days have been some serious news coming out. So what happened was, I think the last time when we were on here, I talked about, so Bill Hinman was at the SEC in 2018. He went on Yahoo Finance and gave a speech where he said, I don't know if people remember this, but he gave a speech and said that basically Ethereum and Bitcoin are not securities, and the SEC will not basically go after them, right? They only said Bitcoin and Ether. So the rest of the market were kind of like, does that mean we're not a security? It kind of like, it was good for Ethereum people and Bitcoin people, but everybody else in the market was kind of like, does that mean we're not securities or what? So they didn't mention any other token. Well, XRP at the time was number 3. It was, it was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. So Ripple was like, okay, well, you said Ethereum's not a security. Why not? We're basically, along the same lines as Ethereum. Why wouldn't you just say we're not a security also? So that's the whole thing. So since that was in 2018, right? There actually was an investigation before that speech came out within the SEC, seeing if they wanted to go after Ethereum or XRP or any other coin. And they came to the conclusion that there was no case there, and they weren't going to come after either coin. And that was in 2018. And since then, into 2020, what changed all of a sudden where, Jay Clayton, on his last day at the administration, of the Trump administration, the very last day, he filed this suit against Ripple and XRP. So that's where it gets shady, where it's like there was no investigation, there was no evidence that said XRP was a security. There were people in the SEC said that we didn't believe XRP was a security. So what happened in those 2 years all of a sudden changed. And to have it, for Jay Clayton to bring it up on his last day. And the funny thing is that he had a meeting a week before he brought this case. He had a meeting with Gary Gensler, the current chair of the SEC. And it seemed to me what happened, and the facts have been coming together a lot in this case, where I think what happened was Gary Gensler talked to Jay Clayton. And what we found out about Gary Gensler is that he's a typical politician. He's power hungry. He wants to come after crypto because he wants to make a name for himself, right? He wants to be the Treasurer Secretary. That's the word around the street is that he wants to be Treasurer Secretary. He wants his name. He wants his ego to be built up, and he wants to be a big time politician, right? So when he entered the SEC, it was never about protecting investors, which the SEC is the government agency supposedly out there protecting investors. It was never about investor protection. It was about Gary Gensler and his power. So the fact that since day one he's been coming after crypto, and honestly, to go after the number 3 cryptocurrency in the world right off the bat, that's pretty ballsy. So that's just the outline of what everything going on. But in the last couple of days, what we got, so that speech that Bill Hinman made, right? Ripple wanted to know why and how did you come to the conclusion to give the speech, right? And the SEC always loves to say, before anything they say in an interview with the news or whatever, they say this is my own personal opinion. It doesn't reflect the views of the SEC. They always say that, but the market takes it as guidance, because why else would you go on the news and say something about the market if you didn't want to give the market guidance? So when he came on and gave that Ethereum and Bitcoin free pass speech, basically, Ripple, when this case came down on Ripple wanted to know, give us the documents on how you guys came to the conclusion and why you gave this speech, right? And their whole argument was, if you say Ethereum is not a security, then why come at us and say we're a security, right? So when William Hinman was brought in for a deposition with this case with Ripple, under oath, William Hinman said that speech was his own personal opinion. So when the judge came down with all the documents that had to do with that speech, the judge was like, if that was your personal opinion, you have to give up all the emails and documents that relate to that speech. So we, us in the XRP community, were like, oh, this is the bombshell. We're going to get all this evidence, right? Well, a week later, the SEC came down and said, actually, we don't want to give those documents up. Actually, it wasn't Hinman's opinion at all. It was actually, it had to do with SEC policy. So we wanted to be protected under, it's called DPP. It's like agency protection, so the public can't see it. So basically what the SEC did was they appealed that judgment by the judge, and we were waiting for their argument on why those documents would be protected. And then 2 days ago, we got the reasoning on why those documents should be protected. And this is crazy. So now what the SEC is saying is that speech was not Bill Hinman's personal opinion, but it wasn't an opinion of the SEC, but it was an opinion of the Division of Corporate Finance, a division within the SEC. So everybody's like, what does that mean? So you're saying it's not the opinion of the SEC, it's not Bill Hinman's personal opinion, but it's the opinion of the division within the SEC. Does that make any sense to anybody? No. I mean, and someone broke it down like this. It's like Tesla saying, right, their division of marketing says, we're giving this huge deal on Teslas, buy one, get one free or whatever. And then Tesla, the company, coming out saying, actually, that's only the division of marketing saying that. It's not that, Tesla, the company, is not saying that. It's like, that's what, it doesn't make any sense, right? And a lot of people out there are like, why would the SEC all of a sudden make this argument? And what people are thinking, what I'm thinking, is that there's something very damaging in these emails or documents related to this speech, because there was about 60 drafts of this email of the speech that were, circulating around the SEC to different people. People think that the Ethereum Alliance had a lot to do with giving the speech, obviously because it helped Ethereum. Joe Lubin, the co-founder of Ethereum, had a lot of his handprints on all this too. So it just looks really shady, and it just seems like the SEC does not want to give up these emails. So it's getting kind of crazy, and the judge is definitely not buying this. There's no way. So the judge will be coming down on a judgment, I believe, on I believe in the next 2 weeks. So that was what happened 2 days ago. But then all of a sudden, the next day, there were these memos from Ripple, right? So that SEC has been going after these memos. So what's in these memos is, so Ripple went to a law firm back in 2012 before they started Ripple, the company, right? And they asked this law firm for legal advice on how to go about business without, selling securities, without doing something illegal. And what the SEC thought was, this law firm back in 2012 probably warned them the SEC was going to come after you and that you guys are doing something illegal. Because the whole case the SEC against Ripple is that Ripple was reckless, doing something illegal. They knew they were doing something illegal the whole time. So that's the whole point of view of the SEC is trying to make in the case. But these memos were leaked. And what the memo said was basically Ripple did everything that they should have been doing. They got legal advice from, I think it was Perkins Coie, was the law firm, which was funny because that same law firm helped write that free pass speech, by the way, which is connecting the dots, crazy, but I won't get into that. But those memos basically said that Ripple went to the law firm, gave them the business plan and said, tell us if we're doing anything wrong here. Are we selling? Are they going to come after us? Are we selling securities? What's the deal? And what the law firm said is, we don't believe you're selling this as a security, but there is a risk that the SEC will come after you in the future. And basically, the law firm said, these are the steps you should take to minimize that risk, right? So basically, in those memos, it shows what Perkins Coie, the law firm, said to do on how to best do this in the most legal way possible, right? And you can see that Ripple took those exact steps from 2012 on to today. They took the exact steps to be careful, to make sure they did this as legal as possible. I mean, Ripple is an American company, right? And that's why I can't stand this whole thing where the SEC is going after, the biggest crypto American company. All the memos, all the documents, they made sure they did everything correctly. They didn't have an ICO, by the way. Every other coin had an ICO, right? Every other coin, when they started out, had an initial coin offering where they sold a token before their platform was built out. Well, in this memo, the law firm said, if you do that, they might constitute that as a securities offering. So you probably shouldn't do that. So what Ripple did was they had a venture capital fundraising where, outside investors came in, and that's how they funded their platform building out. So it's funny that, even the past SEC and the current SEC said any ICO is definitely a securities offering, right? Well, the one company they go after was the only company that didn't have an ICO. So it's another reason why this doesn't make any sense. So is there any other questions? Well, that's like the breakdown basically in the last couple of days. But that's just the, it's been looking terrible for the SEC from day one. But in the last couple of days, it's just like now the SEC is basically backed into a corner now where, there's no coming out of this. No way.
Yeah, man. That's like, wow. I mean, it's just like everything else. BlockFi just settled with the SEC, right? They just paid it off, and now they can continue to do their interest-bearing accounts, and nobody seems to care. So it just seems to be it's always some backdoor settlement. And what's interesting to bring that up? Didn't I see a tweet at one point where Brad Carlinghouse openly said, like, "Oh, they wanted to settle. Like, we could have done settled. Like, we're not settling." Like, bring that up. Like, didn't
I
they
shared
have
that.
the chance to settle like everybody
So
else? And they were kind of like, "Nah, we're gonna go hard." Like,
Sam, this shows you how, like, not cocky, but how confident that Ripple is in this case. They said, Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson's the owner of Ripple, and Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO. They said they could have settled from day one, but they knew they had the facts and the law behind them in the beginning of this case. And honestly, they see this as a good way to get clarity for them. Like I said in the beginning, they gave Bitcoin and Ethereum clarity in 2018, but they didn't give XRP clarity, right? So what they see in this case is that they believe and they think that the law and the facts are behind Ripple. So they want to take this the whole way. They don't want to settle unless they give XRP clarity for the market and moving forward. Because
Also, like people that just if everybody knows you, just as a cool little backstory, but like crypto, like why do we even talk about crypto? It's cryptography, like an NSA basically invention, of keeping data encrypted. Now, when you think of crypto, what does that mean? Well, it came from the idea that game theory, right? Because that came from war. Like first, it came from two guys were at war, and he's like, "Well, how do I get the information without the other guy knowing? Well, how do I make him think I'm doing something, and then do something else?" And then it became encrypting your actions. Really, that's what it came from. Like, sending a horse one way with a dummy on it, with a code on it, making him think your soldier's running one way when there's no one on the thinking. It's a dummy, and then sending your guys the other way. Like things like that, the bait and switch, right? Basically, cryptography comes from the idea of like not letting people see what you want to know, right? So if you think about it, the people that created crypto, behind crypto, and Joel Katz, the dude, our dude David Schwartz,
David
right?
Schwartz.
The guy who helped start Ripple. Like there's talks, I can't verify this, but there's some whispers that he worked for the NSA. Like he worked.
No, he did work for the NSA.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the idea behind this is, do you think honestly that anyone at the SEC is primed in game theory? And when you go into court, it's a bit of a battle, right? So like that's game theory. So don't you think they may have even implemented the IQ of everyone in the situation, made AI simulation personalities, put them through computers, and for all I know, they've ran through this case already in 100 different ways through game theory. Like these people are extreme, and maybe that's even scratching the surface of how they've interpolated the data. We have no idea. Like, so when you go against a crypto firm, like I just feel like you're going against some of the smartest people in the world. Like they might have outthought your just idea. So like when you think you're trapping someone, like it's almost like a cat thinking he's it's like they might have it's like might just be feeding right into their hands from day one. I don't know. I just like that's a hopeful thought. You're thinking maybe the people have more power, or this, the idealistic creative company could think themselves above government tyranny, But it's just yeah, it's just the thought to me, like I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to bet against the smartest people in the world. Like I don't think it would be a good idea. That's another reason why I hold Bitcoin, because I'm like, I think these guys are a little smarter than me. Whoever wrote this code, and
Right.
I as much as I can explain it to everyone, I could never write the code right now. Maybe one day. I always believe anything is possible, but right now, I'm not writing that code. Like I didn't come up with it. I'm not Satoshi Nakamoto. You know, so
Sam, it's true there. It's like when you make an investment, you kind of want to make investment into a person, right? So I saw the reason why I really got into Ripple. I saw what they were doing, but I saw David Schwartz speak, and I was like, this dude knows what he's talking about. It's like seeing Elon Musk and being like, I don't know if Tesla's going to make it, but this guy's going to make it, so might as well get into Tesla, right? So even Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, you hear these people talk, and you see that they know what there's something different about them, right? And when I heard David Schwartz talk, I was like, there's something different about this dude, man. I know whatever he's up to and whatever he's doing, it's going to be gold, right? And, he was an original Bitcoin developer. Him and the other guy, I believe, Arthur Brito, were original Bitcoin developers back in the day. So when they built out XRP, basically what they wanted to do was, they saw Bitcoin and how amazing the technology was. But all they wanted to do was make not a better Bitcoin, but a Bitcoin that was better for payments, that was faster, cheaper, more scalable. And that's when they created XRP. I mean, they couldn't have built a better, you can love or hate XRP and Ripple, but they couldn't have built a better cryptocurrency for payments, because, it takes 3 to 4 seconds to make a transaction. It costs like 0.00004 of a cent. Like, for payments, you couldn't have made a better coin, right? And what they're going after, and Ripple is going after international payments, international remittances, which is $100 trillion market. So you see why there's some pushback. I mean, in $100 trillion market that's owned by the big banks and the legacy system, you can see why there might be some pushback on a company around cryptocurrency, right? So it's very interesting, right?
I mean, so another thing too, I just wanted to talk to about people are also asking what's up with Ripple, and what's up with the chart. I just wanted to take a look at the chart for XRP, and, show you that it looks a little different than Bitcoin's chart. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm going to share my screen for a quick second. It's pretty interesting because here's the XRP chart right here at 78. Now, it had a surge that Bitcoin didn't have the last 3, 4, 5 days. So when the dump happened, it actually held value. Look, it's on a higher low. It's in a bull pennant. Like, look, I can even delete this. Look, you can see it without even looking at, you don't even have to draw the lines. But once you draw them, I mean, that's a beautiful consolidative pattern. And show me the charts and I'll show you the news that
Love that phrase.
there's something going on here, right? I'm just saying, like, there's something going on here. I used to say that and, show me the charts and I'll show you the news. But like, it's such a heavy statement. There's like so much more really going on there. Like you have to understand so much more to really believe that statement, right? Like
Well,
it's like I used to say it, but like it was just saying it, But real quick, I just want to juxtapose this chart with the Bitcoin chart, and you can clearly see, like, you don't have to be a magician here, right? To take a look at this and put these two charts together. We'll look at both the coin. One of them is a Binance Coinbase here, USD. And these are not like, do these charts look the same? And we can go to the 4-hour, or this one is on, let's see, the 4-hour. Yeah. And we'll come back here to the 4-hour. And you can clearly see, like, do these charts look the same? Like, by no means at all. They may have started with this hill. See, the come down here. This was somewhat the same, but Bitcoin is by far, So that also tells you XRP BTC looks like it probably was a good play last night, because when the rest of the market took a dump easy, down 4%, XRP did go down, yes, but you can see it's holding market structure. See, this is how you can see when a coin is strong. If you know your patterns, then when you see a nasty dump, start charting. If you chart 100 coins, like, look, I have hundreds of coins here. If I start charting all these coins, right, in a list of lists, I'm eventually going to come across one or two that seems to be doing something different. And that's how you find a strong coin, right? You can also go through, like, we do the percentage look on Coinbase and crypto, on Coin Market Cap, and take a look. But this is telling me something's going on. And this tells me XRP wants to breach to 110. And I know it's strange to be bullish right now in this funky time, but it's, and again, remember, there's a lot of fear and FUD during these times. Like, I woke up, if you go to Twitter right now, it's war. Like, it is war. Like, they're pushing war right now hard. Like, and remember, we were in huge debt before COVID. If we never had COVID-19, there would be inflation. People would be screaming in the streets. People would have been, COVID was a distraction. I'll tell you that right now. Had we never gotten COVID and no one ever gotten sick, I'm telling you right now, the wounds from 2008 have never left our society. They pumped so much money into the market in the last 2 years, 40%, and all the bailout checks. They would have been given bailout checks anyway. The economy would have been at least better, and less people wouldn't have lost their jobs, and less people wouldn't have lost their small businesses. I mean, it was horrible what has happened to our economies around the world. Like, the middle class person, the regular pizza shop owner, the person trying to get by, like, demolished. Like, they just, and then big shops were able to just completely eat up the market share. The Walmarts and all the Home Depots and all those places just put out all these little hardware stores, and people could just completely out of business. It was just pretty insane if you look back on what happened.
And Sam,
yeah.
So I remember us talking at Isola at my restaurant back in 2018, but way before the COVID stuff ever started, and we were talking about the liquidity injections then, how they were already pumping since 2008. We were looking at it, like, how can you keep printing the money like this? How come the QE just kept building and building? And then when COVID, it was just like, now it's an excuse to even pump it even more.
QE was like a word people didn't mention, and then it became salt and pepper, like you know what I'm saying? Like, and inflation. Like, I'll be honest, I was buying gold and silver in 2008, telling my family and friends about inflation. Like, it wasn't a cool word. No one repeated it, and people just looked at me like I was a weirdo. They were like, "How old are you? 90 years old? You're still buying?" People laughed at me, made fun of me, and that now, like, my buddy who's a cop who never even cared about a market is like, "Dude, the inflation, man. I mean, I'm paying." It's off everybody's tongue. It's like, hey, I was here 10 years ago waving at everybody, trying to tell you the same story. So was Peter Schiff. He's not my favorite dude, but he got me into
gold. You gotta respect him though, right?
And I don't, me and Peter have an issue because he's the reason I buy Bitcoin, which is weird. I've texted him before. He also sold me milk spotted silver, which to this day, I want to publicly say that I used to buy gold and silver from Peter Schiff. And I'm sorry if you're hearing this, if everyone knows them, I would buy gold and silver from him. I eventually switched to Mike Maloney and goldsilver.com, but I bought like, you know, a few 100 ounces of silver, and silver can get what's called like a milk spot on them. Like my silver from Mike Maloney, perfect. Stain, you know, just I got brand new silver from Peter Schiff, like spotted. You know, it's just like, yeah,
Shit.
it's silver. People would take it, but to me, like it's tarnished silver. Like, and it was like on like at least, I don't know, 60 to 70% of the ounces that I got. So, Peter, man, you sold me milk spotted silver. I tweeted at him all the time. Mike Maleo was the rep. Yo, so I'm just saying, but
Peter Schiff, man, selling milky silver to
yo, milk spotted silver on me. But anyway, he taught me about the importance of gold and silver. He predicted the housing market crash on YouTube. I started watching his videos. I thought he was a conspiracy theorist. The housing market crashed exactly as he predicted. I said, wow, this is crazy. Something's going on. Number one, I learned two things. YouTube was telling me some truth that I could find as long as I could decipher, you know, get into the zones, and that I had to keep my eye open to new age information that was coming from the internet, because that's where I was going to be able to find certain pockets of information that were maybe going to save me. And again, I found Bitcoin through the internet, right? Was able to find Litecoin at $5. Like, so, and Peter Schiff opened my mind to these thoughts. And so without Peter, I never would have bought Bitcoin. So like Peter, like you have created many Bitcoiner, and he probably, a lot of tweets, man, are just to get him in the mix.
Yeah, he's a troll. He's an absolute
Yeah.
Bitcoin troll.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he
Bitcoin.
wouldn't be
His
as
son
big
has
as
it.
he was.
And he loves his son.
He just
Everyone
didn't.
loves, no, you love your son. And
Isn't
so
that funny that his son is such a Bitcoin bull?
Yeah.
And they just like battle back and forth. It's so fun.
Let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's pop into the chat for a split second and see what we see here. Shout out to anyone in my trading group. We did open a short last night. You know, I had a live stream last night at 8 p.m. When I looked at the market, I said, if I have to do anything, my indicators tell me that we have to short the market. My indicators are about 70 to 80% accurate. They tend to hit it pretty well. I just do what they tell me to do at this point. I've set a system up that I've traded for 5 years. I've kind of pinned it into a little bit of a thing, and I just keep doing the same thing it tells me to do. And when I do it, it tends to play out. I mean, it's pretty simple. But again, that's for anyone who doesn't think technical analysis doesn't work. Then how could I be that accurate over and over again? It's almost impossible. It's really just the indicators are that accurate. I'm just able to read them. But buy gold antique coins, not gold bars. The historic value of coins will always help maintain the value and in a down market. But still, buy gold. Buy gold. And see, I've always been against those buying that type of coins, because some coins will be up. You got to know they're called mnemonic coins. Like basically like they have like, you know, like a higher end 1879 krona, or, you know, and yes, you can get collected item coins, but if you don't know what you're talking about, you will overpay premiums that you don't know. In my humble opinion, I just buy gold bars of any, you know, because it's better than the dollar that you own. You know what I'm saying? And I may be pronouncing that slightly wrong, but mnemonic coins, mnemonic coins, you know. Shout out to Andrew Sulo in the house, Stack McChain. Shout out to all the mods. High vibes out here to the Lifer crew. Thanks, Muser. Gold is only 50 a troy ounce to our government. Gold is overpriced for its use. That's funny. Listen to these two guys. Funny.
Let's get back into it real quick and talk about the SEC. So, Gary Gensler, right? You know, since this case started with Ripple, you've seen him, you know, it's funny, before this administration started, everybody looked at Gary Gensler because he did a lecture in MIT about Bitcoin and crypto.
I was excited. I thought he was a nice guy.
Yeah, right. There was like, oh, this guy knows his stuff. It's gonna be bullish on crypto. And as soon as he came in, it was like, what's going on here? It was like a bait and switch. He was like, oh, this guy's gonna be great. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm bringing the hammer down. I think he meant to do that. That was all a calculated move, because now he by the way, he was one of the youngest board members on Goldman Sachs when he was like 20, 21 years old. So he's been a banker from day one. You know, us in the XRP community, we're talking about this from day one, saying, you know, people got to pay attention to this case, guys. Everybody was saying, oh, it's only Ripple and XRP. And I got a lot of hate on Twitter when this came down. You know, I knew it was a banker's coin. I knew it was a shit coin, all this stuff. And now, and we were saying then, we were like, guys, you got to pay attention to this case. You know, this is about the whole crypto space. If Ripple wins this case, that takes power away from the SEC going after other crypto. And my theory in this is that the reason why they're delaying this case, and because I think they know they're going to lose, but the reason why they keep delaying is because they have the power right now. Look at them going after Celsius, BlockFi. This morning, I think they went after another lending platform. They're going after crypto exchanges. They're going to Binance US. they're trying to kind of, it's like a power grab, right? Years ago, the CFTC said, they should be regulating crypto because they're commodities, right? Well, the SEC is kind of like pulling a power grab here. You hear Gary Gensler when he goes on, Fox Business or any news outlet, he basically says that everything is a security. He won't talk about any particular crypto, but what he's saying, we're going to come after it all, and we're not going to give any. And the way they're doing it is just the worst way for innovation for the country. They're doing regulation by enforcement. They're not putting the rules out there. They're not giving the markets guidelines on what they should.
Well, I got one question for you.
Yeah, give it to me.
I thought, and this is just from a commoner's perspective, right? Right. I was under the impression that a security was similar to a stake in a person's company. Now, a security you can't go and buy a loaf of bread with. I'm pretty
No,
sure
that's the big thing right there.
right. So like let's just make that clear, right? And doesn't that go back to not Glass-Steagall? That's another but I'm trying the Howey test, right? Aren't we talking about the Howey test here? So when you guys can Google that, if I'm not an expert on it. I sound like I know a lot more than I do.
So there's 4 prongs to that test.
Yeah. So well, he's gonna well, I'm wrong.
I
What I
want
to say though is this. So XRP, I can buy a loaf of bread with, like utility, and the whole point of the story is it's a utility, and that's why it makes cryptocurrencies not securities, because they're utilities. Same reason why you can't tax a Bitcoin mining company, because it actually it's an operational company. It's an operation. It operates. Like it actually has, it's like a car engine. It's operating. So like, yes, it's creating a digital currency, but you can't tax it as securities due to its operational being, So I always thought utility was the whole reason why there was this, and
so
why
exact
there
same.
has to be some type of different regulation. Like you can't, it's like putting a square peg in a round hole. Like it doesn't fit. Like these regulations don't fit for the technology that these coins create. And it's not done what they're going to do. Like they can innovate to something else and something else. So like they're going to just completely outgrow the regulation to the point of where it's like they're going to be here and the regulation's going to be over here, and there's just going to be I don't see the balance there.
Sam, you're hitting all the right points here. It's like that's why this current regulation that they have for stocks and the financial market as it is now, really you can't regulate it crypto the same way, because like you said, you can't go out there and buy bread with your Tesla stuff, right? There's no utility behind stocks, but with crypto, there's use cases for these things, right? That's why they have to either make a different framework for regulation, or they need to, I don't know. It's like, we have like 5 or 6 regulators within the financial world, or the financial universe in this country, and it makes no sense. So what you've been seeing now is they want to come up with their own regulatory agency that will only regulate crypto. And I believe that's where they should go with this. Either that, or just put some real, like I said when I said the SEC is using enforcement for regulation. That's not how you can do it. That's how you hurt innovation in this country. If companies, put it this way, if a company, it has this amazing technology behind crypto, right, and they're going to change the world with their company, but they're afraid to bring it out there because they're afraid the SEC is going to, come after them. Because look at that $100 million settlement with BlockFi. $100 million is a lot of money. That would put most businesses out of business, right? The fact that BlockFi could pay $100 million and still be in business tells you how well BlockFi is doing, first off. But say you have a company that has this state-of-the-art technology behind crypto, and this business is going to be amazing, going to change the world, but they're afraid to come out because they're afraid the SEC is going to come after them and give them a huge sue them for over $100 million. That would be crazy, right? So that they're stifling innovation in this country. Those companies are going to go elsewhere. There's companies are going to go to Singapore, UK, some Euro country. So what the SEC is doing is the worst thing that they could possibly do for U.S. innovation. And this is why, like, I'm so, in every video I always tell, I go back to cryptolaw.com and connect to Congress, because we need to get Congress involved. Congress is the only body that can actually make come up with regulation that will stand the test of time. Because if it's bipartisan, if both Republicans and Democrats can get behind crypto regulation, then it won't be, every 4 years it can't be changed, right? If this is just an executive order about crypto, if the SEC comes up with regulation, each administration can just change it every 4 years. So if Congress gets together in a bipartisan way and makes real regulation to flourish the innovation in this country, then man, we'll do the same thing like we did in the internet boom. Like there's a reason why Google, Facebook, Amazon are American companies, because we've led in the internet boom, right? We need to do the same thing with crypto, and it's sad to see that you see agencies like the SEC and you see Democrats out there, just bad mouthing crypto, saying that it's. I saw something the other day. We're money launderers, we're criminals, but now I guess we're white supremacists now. Like they're coming at it as hard as they can because they either don't understand the technology or they're afraid of it. The big banks have had a monopoly on this currency game for a long time now, and this is scaring the hell out of these people for sure.
That's why I try not to even mention them because I'm not saying everyone I just because my main thing is like if they go after I just look at the world and I'm like, I look at the world as a one place that I think everyone needs to love. Like when I see any person throw anyone down or use their power against someone else who's physically not injuring them, whenever I see a human being with their hands or violently attempt or encroach a human being who physically is standing in a place and not hurting another human being, I feel pain for the whole world. Because I don't care who you are and I don't care what you stand for and I don't care what we're talking about. It's just not right to see that. And at the end of the day, that just leads to nuclear war. Think about it. Pushing and shoving in the street leads to hate, leads to sides, leads to division, leads to world war. So anyone out in the world right now grabbing or pushing someone right now, you're leading to the demise of the entire human race. That's what you're doing.
And Sam, you're hitting that.
You're not. You maybe think you're in a little war and you may be getting some paycheck from some dude and you may think it's cool what you're doing, but you're leading to the demise of us all, which is yourself innate. I always remember the beggar, and I just learned this quote I think 2 years ago, and it seems so simple, but and this goes to this goes to everyone, the SEC, anyone who's using some type of bullying technique, anyone who's not, and that's when you're not letting innovation free, anyone who's choosing fear of new things, right? Fear makes you, when you have fear in your heart, you're afraid of new things, so you try to crush everything around you. And when you do that, you don't innovate, and eventually you hurt yourself, right? And eventually, I truly believe love will win in the end. And so what will happen is everyone else around you will rise up and everyone will look at you and be like, why didn't you see when we were trying to rise you up? How come you wanted to keep going there? And no one will like you. No one will love you. You'll be alone. My man JT, he's gonna end up alone, my man. Doesn't he realize that? 20, 30 years from now, no one's gonna want to invite that dude to a freaking, probably even a family reunion. His own brother's disgusted with him. It's crazy. So I want to get into it, but the idea is I just choose love, man, at any given moment in time, right? And I just see so much hate in the world, especially today. I wake up wow, they're hitting the common person, everybody, harder than I've ever. They are hitting you guys. If I had not built this last year up of mental toughness and mental strength and had gone through what I've gone through with the death of my wife's father and the death of her mother/grandmother that raised her, and then just all the pain that I've seen in my family and friends and the arguments, the division, and man, if that wasn't enough,
you're hitting the perfect points here. When we are divided, we can't get anything done. If we're arguing with each other, we can't get real progressive issues through for everybody, right? So think of it in the crypto sphere. If we're divided, if we're everybody's about their own coin, if we have Bitcoin maximalism, Ethereum maximalism, XRP maximalism, that's how we stifle this market. The fact that if we all come together, right, if you know, all these exchanges and lending platforms and crypto projects got together and fought the SEC, then we'd hammer, because the SEC doesn't have that much money. Don't think that, you know, they have government funding, they have, you know, our taxpayer money, but if we all got together and fought them, that's why when this came down at Ripple, you know, Coinbase should have, you know, jumped on this lawsuit. You know, other companies should have jumped on and joined Ripple in this fight, because if we're all together in this, we can win. And that's what goes with the country too. That they keep us divided. You know, it's always right, left, right, left. Every issue now is political, and it ruins our country. It ruins the world. That, you know, you have, you know, all, you know, these powers that be are taking control of everything. And you see what's happening in Canada. I don't want to get into that, but if we're divided, then these things can happen. They're going to slowly, you know, inch their way and take you know.
Well,
our
I feel like it will
rights
get to the
slowly and
point
slowly.
where I think it gets to the point where the word love becomes a toxic word. Because it's like, where does it stop? Like, it's like, well, if you use the word love, then that means you don't want to hate the world and you're not with, like, it's just like, it's getting creepy to me. Like the word freedom and love are getting like bad. Like it just, like, to me, like, you know, and that's why I even let that in my head, and then I have to be like, I go out into nature and I realize that like my place is out there. I look at a tree, I look at the birds, I relax. Like today, I'm gonna make a plan to get out and get up into some nature, and I'm gonna go out for the next. My daughter has the week off. I'm gonna take my family into some nature, and I'm still gonna be with the group. I'm gonna trade, do my thing, but I'm gonna remove myself from these tensions that they're forcing on me.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's so
And
important, Sam. And like, people live on Twitter, right? And if you've ever, you know, I've been on Twitter a lot more since I got into crypto, obviously. But you know, you see the
stealing
environment on
freedom
Twitter.
sounds racist. I know it's crazy. Like, it's so crazy. Like,
It's just, you just see this
uh,
nature on Twitter, and it's just so ridiculous how everybody's just battling and fighting all the time. And it's like, guys, you know, we gotta step back and look at from the big picture here. Our biases are blinding us to real things that are right in front of us, right? If you know, the Canadian government is trying to take people's funds, seize people's bank accounts, how is that? You know, that's the start of something very dangerous. And I think, I honestly, you know, you said it, and a lot of people have been saying that's the biggest advertisement for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin that I've ever seen. The fact that,
ever,
you know,
ever.
government agents are going to come in and seize your bank account because they don't agree with them politically. Like, that couldn't have been a bigger advertisement to get your, first of all, get your crypto off exchanges. You know, put it on a hard wallet. You know, get it off exchanges, guys. Because I think it was Kraken, I think, that just came out and said, you know, someone tweeted up, you know, is our money, our funds safe on your platform? And he was like, no. Like, if you're afraid, if you think the government's going to come after you, get it off our platform. You know, like, put it on a hard wallet, because you know, they could easily go after exchanges and take and funds there. So just be, you know, everybody be smart about, you know, their crypto, because this is your hard-earned money. And you know what Canada is showing you is that if they don't agree with you politically, they can just come and take your money. That's just, like I said, I couldn't see a bigger advertisement for cryptocurrency than that, right? Who would have thought?
Well, I always believe that God works through the demons. See what he does. It's almost like you dangle a carrot in front of them, right? So you keep feeding, like, and they keep going deeper, but when they go deeper, they reveal, right? They reveal, like, and there's probably a great fable for that I can't come up with right now, but it's like, it's the idea in, you know, that somehow God works through us all. And if there's a plan out there that has a better idea at the end, and we can't see why it's happening and it happens at the beginning, and we can't see the end result. So it looks horribly painful at first, and it's tough. And that's just like life. Like my life, I didn't know where it was going to go 5-10 years ago, and I still don't know exactly, but it's better than it was, and I believe that it will continue in that way, and God bless it, right? And so, but at the time, there was some turmoil and pain, but without that turmoil and pain, I would never look back and be like, wow, what a blessing where I'm at now. So I feel like we're kind of in this stage. And even though it's horrible and there's fighting, I've never seen so many people out in the streets. I've never seen so many people just be like, no, like I want a voice. I want, you know, I've never seen the whole world just in my whole life. We've never seen this type of stuff. Like, this is crazy.
This is
This
the
is
start of something beautiful, man. I
It's
really
a new
believe.
world. It's a new age. Yeah, like I'm gonna run positive with this and believe that, like, yes, there was a forest fire Yes, things are burning, but that creates that certain like carbon, right? That enriches the soil, that goes back into the ground where you can grow and you can create like the freshest, newest flowers and fruit. So we're gonna have to go through some pain. It is what it is. It's just like crypto. Me and Muser, man, we sat on beaches looking out on the water, talking about our lives. We've seen XRP at 16 cents, 9 cents, 10 cents. Like
Open it up
we've
too.
seen Bitcoin at 30K, 3 grand, and we've both been like, hey man, we're at least alive. Like we have a lot, like we've been through the ups and downs of crypto. And in 4 years, we're probably 80 years old as far as we're concerned with the amount of freaking emotional up and
Ain't
down
that the truth?
that crypto will do to you. Yeah. Like you see that meme when the guy's like, what do you mean? Crypto trade's been great for me. And it's like 26 years
Yeah,
old.
26 years old, man. It couldn't be more, I'll tell you
Oh
what.
my God, man.
I'll tell you what, though, and along those lines, crypto has educated me in so many different ways. Like with this Ripple case, I've learned,
Yeah.
what's his name? Attorney Jeremy Hogan does a channel called Legal Briefs where he like goes over all the legal jargon basically in this case. I'm learning law. I've been learning financial, world finance. Like in the last 4 years, I probably got an education that I probably could have paid $120,000 at some college. And when you get into this crypto sphere, everything just starts get all those things were confusing you, because obviously some people don't get it because they think it's confusing, right? They're like, I don't get this internet money thing. And once you like slowly break it down, it takes years. So let's be real. Like I'm still learning every day, and you should be learning every day. But like you just learn and learn and learn, and just it's so much behind this where, like I said, I couldn't have got this education at a college for, like I said, I would have paid like $120,000 for this education somewhere else. So it's been amazing what this, getting into this crypto space has done for me. Like, and I see you too. Like, in the last 4 years, we've educated ourselves in so many ways in world finance. It's just unbelievable, right?
No, but talk about that a little bit. Talk about it, because you met me when I was like 12, 13 years old. Talk about meeting me before I was into crypto, and talk about when I first, like, kind of go through that evolution, because like you saw it in a way I never saw it. Like, what was that like to see your friend and like look where it is now? It's just crazy. Like, what was that like?
Well, it's funny too, Sam, because we always, when we first met, we had a connection, man. We were like, we just, something about me and you, we vibe, right? So I think we were like maybe 13, 12 years old when we met. And it was like you'd come down for the summer on the island, and we'd meet up, we'd hang out, whatever. And then I wouldn't talk to you for like months, right? And then all of a sudden I see you again, and it's like we never left. Like, oh, what's up, man? How you been? Like, we just had that connection, right? And then we had that story in California. That just solidified that connection. I was like, there's something about this dude. Like, why would I all of a sudden just bump into him in the middle of California?
Real quick, because I went to LA, he went to LA. We never knew it. We didn't have cell phones.
Wild
I just got
story.
out the phone and looked at the beach, and he rode by in rollerblades, and we ended up seeing each other without ever planning it out. And that's never happened to me again in my life. Like, never seen someone I knew
like
3,000 miles away. Like, oh, what up, man? Like, oh yeah, just yeah, see you later.
But that just solidified our friendship, and like we just always were on the same like frequency, basically, right? And then when you got, I think it was, I don't even know when it was. I think it was in 2016 or 17. I think it was right before the bull run in 2017. You came to me and said like some dude on the street told you about Bitcoin, and you like started getting into it. And when you get into something, everybody knows life. When Bitcoin gets into it, he gets into it, right? So all of a sudden you came at me, you came back to the restaurant, and we had like an hour and a half talk about it. And you like opened my eyes. I was like, wait a minute, like, what is this?
I remember sitting at the bar. Remember the bar?
The bar.
I always remember sitting at the corner bar, and like you were like, no, I mean, you had some like we're muddling this thing. You were like, oh, we do this muddled blah blah blah. I was like, yo, let me get one of those. You're like, all right, and you were like muddling some extra drink for me. I was like, yo, let me try that.
But for sure,
it's also when your friend owns a restaurant, like just like pop in, like I'm eating meatballs in the back kitchen, open up the like the cold freezer, like what you got in there, man?
But honestly, if you didn't come in that day and throw that at me, I probably never would have. I mean, I probably would have got into it later down the line, but I was so distracted with what I was doing. I was working in a restaurant. I worked literally 85, 90 hours a week, so I didn't have time to think about crypto and anything outside the restaurant. I really had zero time for it. But when you got me into that, I believe it was, I want to say it was right before the bull run, but I missed it. I didn't get involved in it yet. I was researching, but I didn't put any money in it. But then when I saw the boom,
that's like the summer of 2017. We're probably
Yeah, exactly.
like,
Exactly.
yeah,
And then
like
going
May,
into that
June.
winter, and in 2018, I remember that's when I got into it at the top of the market, basically at the end of that bull run. So I was like, oh shit, I missed it, you know. But that just started my, you know, my research, because I'm just like you. When I research something, you know, I go at all different angles. I try to get every different opinion on it, and then I come to my conclusion and my opinion on it, right? So when I started getting into it, I don't even think you meant to send me that Kevin Cage XRP video, because you weren't even an XRP. You didn't even. I don't even think you were that into XRP, but you sent me that video, and that just put me on, you know, a mission. Now it you know came to today. I think that was I want to say it was in 2018, and you sent me that Kevin Cage video, and that's when I went down the rabbit hole like I've never. Like I'd be sitting there, I'd be prepping all day in the kitchen. I just have XRP videos and crypto videos just going on blast, and people would come in the kitchen and be like, "Yo, what are you listening to?" I'm like, "Bro, you need to get it." Like, you know, when those people, when you try to explain crypto to someone, they're like, "This dude's crazy." You know, like how many times we've had conversations back in the day with people about crypto trying to explain it to them, and they're like, "Dude, you're crazy, bro. You're there's no way that's going to happen." And it's so funny, you know, looking back at the bear market in 2018, when everybody was saying, you know, crypto's dead, it's going to zero. And it's funny, all of a sudden, since last summer, the bull run started, I had like 5 missed calls a day on people that I talked to years in the past. Like, dude, what it did what you said. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I'm like, told you guys. You know?
Trying to tell you something.
It's so funny. Like everybody in the stream has had that conversation with your family or friends in the past, even like recently, where they just look at you like you're crazy when you start talking about crypto. Because, like I said before, it's complicated, right? It's not easy to you know, from the common person that doesn't understand this at first, it seems like it makes no sense, right? But as you slowly, you know, figure it out and understand from a financial standpoint, and how the legacy system and the banking system has been, you know, as corrupt as it gets, you start waking up to all these things that cryptocurrency will you know, bring you some financial freedom that you never thought was possible in the past, right? So I don't know where I was where we started that. Oh yeah, so you brought in that that day and got me into it. You sent me like by accident that XRP video, and then that just brought us to where we are today, where it's like, I can't believe, you know, when you started this channel, you know, I was always egging you on because I knew you had it in you, man. You were like the TA, man. You were I remember you were in a group. I forget whose group you were in, but you were like teaching the guy that was leading the group at times, and I was like, dude, you were on this, man. Like I remember I came visit you in New York City. You just had it, bro. I just saw it. So, and you were a great teacher always. So I knew this channel was going to blow up. I knew you cared about people and you cared about this space so much that it was only a matter of time, right?
I mean,
And
that's
it's crazy
special to
to
me
see from
because
then
like
to now.
they know you've known me since I was like 13, you know. So like
right?
when you come and say that to people, no, but it solidifies my business, it solidifies my dream, it solidifies what I'm here for, because like it's just such a it's like, man, like this was an organic thing that somehow
Totally.
happened to me, the channel, the group, you know. Like
And
everyone's
dude, think about it. Like you were in New York City. I remember you would call me sometimes because you would do the midnight, what it was called, the graveyard shift all the time, right?
yeah.
And you'd be calling me like 2 a.m. I'd be like out drinking or something like that. And you were just unhappy. I could just tell it like from your voice. It's like, I just don't like doing this, man. It's not giving me the love for life that I need, right? And he was like, you said you need to change, man. I don't know, but it's like good money, but it's like I can't step away from this because I have a family. What do I do? And then when you started the channel, you just left your job and you threw it all out, man. You put your career and your family on the line, and you started this. And I'm unbelievable to think from a year and a half, 2 years ago to where you are today. And this thing's only beginning today, right? You're at the start of something huge in this industry. And like you were talking about running for president, dude, it's not far-fetched, dude. I know people are thinking that's crazy, but crypto, and I wanted to get into this too, crypto is going to be one of the biggest issues in politics coming into the midterms, these midterms, and in the presidential election, because what crypto does is it gets young people voting, right? And that's been the big thing about voting in this country, is that, you know, the lower half of the youth, like I think it's from like 18 to 30 years old, I think it's like 20%, 30% of the people vote. If you give them a real issue to vote on, like crypto, I'm telling you, you're going to get those numbers up to 80, 85%. Because I don't have numbers on the top of my head, but the age group from 18 to 35, those are like the main people involved in crypto, right? So if you give them an issue, if you're seeing, I don't know where she was from. There was a politician, I think she was from Arizona or somewhere. She tweeted out something about crypto, and it was like a full on, like there were like millions of comments. Like, start using crypto, and you're seeing it more and more with politicians. They're saying that they want to make it legal tender in their state.
Well,
They
you know what it is
it.
I'm a creepy. I have like an ability to obtain a lot of what I read, and I'm a purveyor of historical data.
I think that's why we get along, because I'm in the same.
Yeah, like you just like me and you could go into
nerd.
like, yeah, we could go watch a movie about freaking, like anything deep about the country, or get into a deep, philosophical discussion.
And that's the funny thing, Sam, about us, is that we watch those documentaries where other people were like, "What? Doesn't keep my attention." I'm like glued to the screen with those, like, those old documentaries about the financial system, or those Mike Maloney videos, or just
also,
documentaries
as a whole. Data anymore. It's fallen away.
People are, they stop reading, they stop like wanting to educate themselves, and they're so caught up in like the materialistic crap in life, man. And it's sad to see, because, with the phone and with the internet, you have information at the tip of your fingers, and you really can educate yourselves in a way you couldn't before. Like on YouTube,
That's what I tell everyone. You could use that. Like someone said to me, the Chinese are using TikTok to educate the masses right now. Like they want you on TikTok to only watch an informational video, to learn how to code, but they want the Americans to watch just complete absolute garbage, right? So it's almost like they know how to educate their country and get people, and we're like following into this like hole of, watching cats chase their tail.
Right. I hate to say, that movie Idiocracy, but it's almost looking like a documentary these days, guys. Like, it's wild to see that people, I see this thing on some show. I remember they go around, and they interview people and ask them just basic historical questions or geography questions. People don't even know where they are in the map.
I think gold backs the dollar still.
Yeah, I can't believe people don't know that we got off the gold standard back in the 70s. Like, they don't understand that there's nothing backing that. They're like, well, cryptocurrency makes no sense because there's nothing backing it. I'm like, what do you think is backing the dollar?
So,
I mean,
funny
it's military, but
you look at them and you're just like, this is gonna be a long day.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Like, it's sad because it gets to the point where you're like, will I ever really get, I love these people and I'm willing to help them, but like if for instance, like if you want to teach someone geometry and they don't want to do 2 + 2 = 4, how the heck can you get them to A² + B²?
Yeah, some people just don't want it.
It's just not going to happen. Like,
yeah.
And the sad thing is, you gotta want to educate yourself to get to a level of understanding. Like, at one point, you can't just be like, oh, well, it's all gonna figure. Like, it's like you gotta take, like, and that's what the problem. This is a huge thing right now, because you may be me, and I may be talking to someone out there right now. Me 7-8 years ago, a voice is coming to me, and I'm online, like not a voice, but an intuition, and I'm learning, wow, like to become a millionaire and to get out of the rat race, like you actually have to, like, number one, understand money. You have to learn about it. You have to figure out like how to keep it, why people keep it, what made someone why, like, you got to see that guy who gets out in the Mercedes and closes the door, and like, what is he doing? Like, and then he goes and lives in the nicer neighborhood, and he doesn't worry, and his kids, everything is all right. He's not freaking out about where they're going to go to school and how am I going to put food on the table. He's chilling. He has other things. He's giving, donating. People know him in the neighborhood and waving him. You're like, how is this guy living like that? Like, my uncle's a bricklayer, you're like, everyone else I know is struggling, like wiping dirt off their pants. Like, he looks clean every day. He's doing his thing. And so, like, I studied those people, and I was like, and also the people that gave back, like not just like a rich snob, but someone who was giving back, someone who had it all. Because once you have the ability to give back, to me, that's true success. If you can give $100,000 a year away, I think that's like you're bordering on the edge of becoming a very, like, that's success to me. It's not being rich. It's how much can you help other people? Like, how much is your life stated so well that you can help others, right?
I think that's going to be a big thing with crypto, is that obviously there's going to be a lot of money. I mean, already there's been a lot of money made from crypto, but this is going to be the biggest wealth transfer in the history of our country. And I think a lot of people that are going to make this money are going to put it back into their communities and put it in the right places where other people haven't done that. And I think it's going to change the world in that aspect too, where, yeah, like when I make some money, if I ever make millions of dollars, I'm definitely, going to give it back to the community, give it back to I can't wait to give it to my nephew's school, to give him new bikes or new something. Like, I want to make the world a better place, man. And everybody should think along those lines, because it's not just a, this whole idea of just all about me. It's all about me. It's like, no, man, it's about everybody. If we all grow as together, then we can, I feel better about giving money away than I do actually having it myself.
And what I want to say about my last statement there is, and what you're saying too, but at one point I didn't want to put in the work. All right. Like, I wanted to watch Netflix, and I wanted to play Madden with my buddies, and I wanted to, smoke a bone and go off and ride a bike with somebody and just blow off kind of like the responsibility on me to learn what was going to get me out of the rat race. Like, you have a calling inside right now, every one of us. And it's basically this intuitive notion inside of you that that you know where you're at. I knew that. And I was like, damn, I'm going to have to and I had to learn the trading. I had to understand gold and silver. I had to understand the monetary system. I had to figure out what Bitcoin was. And this was something that I knew I needed to do, but I was not doing. I was choosing to sit on that phone and do the cat video and fall into the social media holes. And, I prayed that God help me not be so, ADHD. And I went through depression fighting the ADHD and trying, like, why am I always just not able to focus on what I focus on? So, like, if you're like me, if you're hearing me right now, remember, like, it's going to be hard. But, like, you have a responsibility to have to know, like, to kind of re-educate yourself. Like, you could be going to school, you can have a job, but, like, you should always also have your own, and that's what, like, Mark Twain said, I never let my schooling interfere with my education. Oh no, I never let my education interfere with my schooling. Oh no, yeah, I never let my schooling interfere with my education. That's what he says. Like, because he was you're on your own path for knowledge at all times. And you have to know that. And that's a responsibility, because when you get lazy and you just eat the wrong foods and you get low energy, like, you're not going to go search and watch historical documentaries, and you're not going to make connections, and you're not going to want to strive to find more. You're just going to keep watching, Breaking Bad again over and over again, and you're going to fall into a Netflix loop. So I may be speaking to someone out there, because that was me for a while, and now I'm here. So, like, as an inspiration, just like, and it can start small, still watch here and there. I watched the Olympics last night to ease my brain after I shorted the market. What else could I have done? Like, I looked at the market, I said, I didn't want to short other coins. Bitcoin's the only thing going down, and, like, other thing will kind of follow it. But I was just like, I'll short Bitcoin, and I'll wake up in the morning and see where we land, And so, yeah. So if you're choosing to be brainwashed by the technology, that's the point of this whole crux, is you could use the technology to let it run you around, or you could use the technology to run the world around you. And right now I'm at home, and I can broadcast from my home. Right. And my dad always told me, it's funny, it's a crazy story, but I was in this house that I'm in now, where I was born when I was like, I was born here, but I moved here when I was 8 or 9, but the town. And I'm with my dad one day, and he would read a lot of Asian books. And the guy went to, like, Taipei, which was an Asian city. And he would read about English settlers that would end up with wives, they'd have 4 wives around the world. And not to say, I'm not trying to talk about womanizing, but this is what happened back then. And he would say, this is what would happen, because he'd spend 2 years in Japan, and then he'd come back with the silk, and he'd spend a year back in England, and then he'd have 2 families in both places, because that's what a captain did. Like, it was crazy, right? But, like, this, if you read these books, this is what happened. And so he went to these faraway villages and did all these things, and he came home, and, the Asian man said, like, stay in one place and the whole world comes to you. Like, and my dad was just reading Asian proverbs, and he's like, listen, Sam, like, you stay in one place, whole world comes to you. And I was like, no, like, I was like, but all these books are about travelers, go out. And so I was like, no, I got to go to New York, and I got to find my destiny, and I got to, like, buy a penthouse and become this magnet. And, like, I'll come back to Boston to visit, but, like, I'll always and then I'll travel the world, and, like, Boston will always just be this place I left, But then, like, my world crumbled, and, like, the pandemic shook my life, and, like, I came back home, and I really started the channel like a year before I moved back home. So it was a year here, and then it started to grow. And then, like, now like, the other day I was like, where's everybody from? And they're like, Sri Lanka, freaking Netherlands. And I'm like,
right, that was
in one place, and the whole world came to me. Like, I'm back where I started. It just, that boggles my mind. Like, it's such a funny, it's a funny anecdote, I just wanted to share with everybody.
That's so true, man. Like, the fact that the life of fam is, like, worldwide. And that's the great thing about, there are some bad things, obviously, about social media, but the great thing is that we're all connected, right? And the fact that we're all connected, we can all get together and do things that were never possible in the past, right? So that's why this crypto thing is going to blow up even more than the internet. So the internet is now well established, right? I think it's like 85% of internet connection, or some crazy amount of people now have internet connection, have access to the internet. So what that's going to do with crypto is that, look at the growth of the internet since 99 or whatever it was, 96. Yeah. Now that that's established, crypto is going to grow even faster than the internet because, that structure is always built out with the internet. So now it's just like they say Web 3.0, it's like, this is going to be massive. And if people don't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. Like with crypto and the metaverse and NFTs and everything going on in the last year, this is just a year of growth. Think about 5-10 years down the line. Like, do people actually see where this is going? It's all about being patient. And I've been saying this on my channel, every video, basically. It's about being patient, right? You can do your day trading and do your swing trades, whatever, but like have your long-term bags and just put them away. Put them on a hard wallet. Put them in a safe somewhere, whatever. But just know, like, be this here for the long term because, we're at 2.7. What are we at? 1.7 trillion, 1.8 trillion. We're at 3 trillion, I think, at the end of last year. We're looking at $50 to $100 trillion market cap in the next 5 to 10 years, guys. So where does that put your coins that you're in right now? Think about it, in a long term as like a retirement aspect, right? And I actually mentioned in my video the other day about, I think it was 25% of people now in the US are involved in crypto. And I think it's 24% actually have a savings account. So it's the first time in history that more people are involved in crypto than have a savings account. So people are starting to get it that, like, if I put my money in the bank in a savings account, it's doing literally nothing for me. And it's actually losing value due to inflation. But if you put it in crypto, it is a volatile market, on a day-to-day basis. But if you look at, the 10-year chart, it's been going like this, right? So if you want to put it in a savings account into crypto for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, there's no better place to put your money. So it's really opening people's eyes, especially, like I said, this Canada thing. The bank has been using our money to make money for years and giving us 0% of the profits.
Yeah, that's what people.
Why they're going after these lending products so much is that the lending products and they expose
what the banks have been doing,
and the lending products are giving profits back to the actual customers, which the banks have never done. So the banks are like, shit, man, that they're going to ruin our whole whole monopoly here.
It's like exposure. It's like exposure. It's like the mafia has been letting you borrow $5,000 for a 10% VIG or 30% VIG, and then some dude just comes in and it's like, you could take 10 grand for 1%, and they're like, whoa, 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 like, what are you doing?
Right?
Like, how dare you step on our toes over here? And like that leaks into what you said before, which I'm not even going to mention, but it's one big freaking mafia,
And especially the SEC, and they've been, I don't. It's a touchy
this is just
subject.
a book real quick. I just wanted to share this book, Taipan by James Clavell. Amazing book. Someone actually, the one I was mentioning, one guy just said he finished it yesterday, which is insane because it was the book I was bringing up. Pretty funny. Anyway, that's off topic, but I just like people to read, and it's a really interesting book, Taipan by James Clavell.
Reading is something that I love to do. I remember when I was young, I hated reading. I just, I thought maybe I had like ADD or something. I'd read a page like 4 times, and I'd be like, I guess I don't like reading. But it wasn't that I didn't like reading; I didn't like the subject that we were reading. Right? If you don't like what you're reading, then it doesn't hold your attention. But once I started finding books that actually I enjoyed, I like the subject behind it, I realized that it was nothing. It wasn't that I disliked reading; it was that I needed to find things that actually I had a passion for. So now, I implore people, read more and less time on Netflix and whatever you're doing on TikTok. I mean, those things. I remember sitting down there on TikTok or something like that, and like an hour went by, and I didn't even know what happened. I looked up and I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah,
like,
it's scary. It's horrible.
It's that can do to you. Like that just distracts you. Like I've never seen another social media platform with just
the sad thing
15
is,
to 30 seconds.
It's a catch-22 because, like, look at me. Like when you like become like when you start making money online, like you become a social media influencer, right? Everyone's like, oh, like I want to be like the crypto lifer. He's on Instagram, he's on YouTube, but it's like, but I'm not on them. Like I use them, right? It's
you
like
use them
weird.
as a platform.
It's
to
I send myself out on them, but I don't spend time in them. Content. It's kind of like And the more and again, like I'll be honest, in my whole life, I've probably been in like 3 TikTok holes. And because I know I'm gonna get in one, I don't go near that app. Like I know
Yeah.
I've heard it, I've heard the stories, and honestly, thank God. And that's another thing. I would not be here if I had been on TikTok holes for the last 4 years. I've been in chart holes. I decided to make the chart my hole. And honestly, it was good and bad. And sometimes I didn't even know what was happening in the local news. Like I didn't even know like
Sometimes that's good.
like there was a Biden and Trump were going at it, and I would just be like, I don't even like. It's been 3 days. I've been like on Bitcoin, so like I don't even know what they're saying. Like, and that I liked it in a way because people were just going at each other, and then I would like step out in the public or kind of like put my ear out to like what was happening in the world, and I'd be like, holy crap, oh my gosh, like people are just at each other's throats, and I was like, and then I would just be like, I'm gonna go step back into the charts again.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what to say to anyone. Like I was like, if I say one thing or another thing, I would talk to Muser. We would call each other, and I'd be like, wow, like the country's just in shambles right now, And
Honestly, that was the best thing that I did was I stepped away from that noise, right? It's
Yeah.
just like every day you turn it on, you're like, what is going on? Like, and most of the time it had nothing to do with your life. It was like just a distraction of all this,
Exactly.
what did Trump say today or what did Biden say today? It's like, who cares, man? I got my own issues in my life. Like, I don't need to be worried about that. Like, and like you said, you use the charts. Like I use, I don't get in the charts that much, but I research, this case, or I research different tokens or different, I did a deep dive in NFTs the other day. I need to do more obviously with that because that sphere is incredible. But it's like I try to educate myself every day. I try to learn something every day, right? And that's every day I get into a goal where I need to learn something today about something. Right? I wake up, I go for my run, I get my outline with my video going, and it's like I'm on Twitter. I know Twitter is not the best thing to be on, but I'm on there for the news, right? I'm trying to get people's different perspectives on what's going on with the case or whatever, and then I'm on news articles about crypto and stuff. But it's like I'm constantly trying to learn something new, right? And I think that's the best thing where people get caught up in just watching content that is not educating themselves. It's just like noise in front of them, and especially the news. It's like all they do is try to divide you with CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. It's just a bias that they're going after. If you watch CNN, they're just pushing one thing on one side of it. You watch Fox News, and it's like they keep us divided.
The sad thing is, like every once in a while, one of those stations, which we don't know which one, is actually reporting on something that's real, but we'll never know. Like, because both sides just can be like, well, they're freaking making it up, and they're making it up, and they're making it up, and they're making it up. And it's like, oh my God. So like if it rained yesterday and they're like, it rained yesterday, like, did it? I don't even know anymore. I'm like, well, actually, that was true. That you actually did tell me it rained today, but like, you just like, you know what I'm saying? So like the truth might even come through there, but it just like, so now you don't even know. It's like,
but it's also that they keep your bias. So it's like, if the other channel says something, doesn't matter if it was true, if it was factual, you're going to disagree with it because it was the other side saying it.
That's what we just said too. Is like, we started to be in the middle of this, going to nature, right? What's the best way to beat disinformation? Is to choose what information you let into the brain, like to just go into nature and listen to the breeze, right? And relax.
That is a key. Like I honestly, I'm not a big city person. I live on an island, and I've been in New York City to visit you, and obviously I've lived in Boston for a couple of years. It is a lot, like it's a different atmosphere, right? Like being in nature, people need to step back sometimes. Even if you live in the city, like go on a hike, step outside the city. We're like our humans are meant to be in nature, dude. It just, you can feel it, right? You can feel the energy. You ground yourself. I feel like everybody needs to step back sometimes and do that because I don't know what I do. If I lived in the city, I'd be a different person, I believe. Like the fact that I have a beach right down the street, I have a big yard. It's like I need that nature around me to like focus. It's too distracting in those big cities. Silence. So back to what were we just talking about before that? So let's get back to the case real quick because I knew I wanted to say a couple things.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up soon.
Yeah, let's wrap up. Yeah, let's wrap up where we are in the case as of right now. So right now, like I said, the discovery phase ends, I think, March 14th, I want to say, right? So after the discovery phase is over, then settlement. I'm sure settlement talks have already started, but then that's when real settlement talks really start. So after the discovery phase, then the two SEC and Ripple come together and say, this is what we have, this is what you have. Like, how can we come together with a settlement that helps both of us, right? In Ripple and all this, they want clarity. Like Brad Garling also said, we're not settling unless we have clarity for XRP moving forward, because their whole business model has XRP involved in their ODL, on-demand liquidity platform, where that's their whole business basically is built behind XRP. So they want clarity for XRP. So they're not going to take a settlement unless they have clarity for XRP. SEC, on the other hand, it seems to me the only thing they want in this case at this point, because I think they thought it was going to be an easy case and they were going to get a big settlement from the beginning, but now they're backed into a corner where now I think the SEC, they only want to save face now, because if there's a terrible settlement and the SEC looks terrible, then that takes power away from the SEC, takes power away from Gensler, and I don't think that he's going to take a settlement that makes them look that bad. So what the smart thing to do if I was Ripple was, get clarity for XRP, but also give a little bit to the SEC so you can get the settlement as fast as possible here, because what the SEC has shown is that they can delay. And every delay they've asked for from the judge has been granted. So like I said, this was supposed to end last September, and we're sitting here almost at the end of February, and we're still in the discovery phase. So if they actually took this to a case, which I don't think they are, because there's no way the SEC would take it to summary judgment if they knew they were going to lose. So if they would take it to summary judgment, it wouldn't end until the end of summer. It wouldn't end until about September. But I just don't believe. I know that the SEC they know that they have to believe they have a losing case in all this. So you have to believe that as soon as the discovery phase ends, and I think it's March 14th, I want to say, I keep saying, there will be a settlement anytime past that date. But you have to remember, the saying, buy the rumor, sell the news, right? If people are sitting out there, and not financial advice, obviously, but if people are sitting out there being like, oh, I'll just buy in, when the settlement happens and when Coinbase relists XRP, just that's a scary thing to think about, because you could be too, obviously this probably something will happen with the price before the settlement, right? So just like I said, not financial advice, but keep an eye on what the rumblings around this case, because you obviously want to buy when it's been consolidating. And you just showed the chart, the XRP chart earlier. There's something going on with XRP. Let's be real. Coinbase is moving around hundreds of millions of XRP. The exchanges that delisted them in the past are all of a sudden moving around millions of XRP. That could only mean one thing, that they're getting ready to relist it. So just keep an eye on it, guys. Like I said, not financial advice, but I'm the crypto user. I used to be the XRP user. I've been following this for a while now, and it just seems like something different is going on with XRP, the price of XRP compared to Bitcoin at this point. But
we got 208.6 million XRP shoveled by Coinbase. Rumors of possible XRP relisting sparkle as Coinbase transferred a significant amount of XRP. Some of the community have begun to talk about a possible listing for the coin. So, hey, I want to leave that with everybody with an idea, a hope. And I guess what everyone wants to know, what's Bitcoin going? I'll leave you guys with a quick little input, because I know I'm a lifer and that's what I got to do. Right now, Bitcoin's forming a bear rectangle. Not looking good to me, honestly, if I had to say it. Continuing in this zone that it's in right now. Look, it's just doing this. And if it can't break this high here, and you see this 1 hour come high, or even go halfway high, and we begin to roll, you could even see the MACD roll again. Let's take a look at what the 15-minute suggesting could, So either, my thing is this. You have 2 rejection points already. You can come up here and get rejected, so you basically have to, like, Bitcoin has to get above 40,300. Like, if it can't break above that, look for more downside. It's pretty simple downtrend forming right now, and this is actually a bear rectangle. Another easy way to look at it is just go to the 3S opposite. Go to the opposite token, which would be Bitcoin 3S, and you can see it's forming a nice little flag here. The only thing we have running for us, which I will explain, is there's a little bit of bearish divvy here, right? And this could Bart Simpson down. So, anything is possible. Remember, at any given moment, my indicators only give me a probability, and I go with that. Doesn't mean I'm right, and doesn't mean everything I say is going to happen. I just go with the probability of what could or could not happen. The only good thing that I do see happening right now that I have to point out is on the 1 hour time frame. Look at this. I mean, this is when I zoom in here and I look at this. This is some strong divergence. It's bullish divergence. You have swing down to swing down here from this point to this point. That's a divergence, a movement. And then from here, take the same point, really. And you can see this is kind of flatter up if you even take this whole zone. So there's a downward movement, but there's an upward trajectory on the RSI. Also, the RSI hadn't been below that dotted line in a long, long time. And we did it twice now. So again, the way out of this would have to be the inverted head and shoulder. That's really kind of how this price action would find its way out. It would do something similar to this, in my humble opinion, if it could get out. So watch this idea. This is what we're looking for. But again, if we can't even get above this zone later on today, if you can't see Bitcoin get above 38,500, it's likely to short back down to the measured move at 36,002. All right. And that's it for the day, everybody. I appreciate you jumping on in, hanging out with me and the crypto music as we go over the facts of the XRP case and the ripples that it has in the market. This is the Lifer Cipher. We try to come to you once a week. Eventually, we're going to have a given moment in time, maybe Wednesdays at 8 at night. I don't know exactly when it's going to be. We're still working on that, but we're planning on getting it going. We're producing it, getting it moving. And yeah, again, I am not a financial advisor. There is my man, Crypto Muser. We are just giving our thoughts and opinions here. Get yourself a financial advisor and do your own due diligence before getting into any project, coin, or trade. But my man, it was great talking to you. It was great to see you. And I really appreciate you always coming by the show. You have a lot of knowledge. You're well thought out, well presented, and well spoken. So I really appreciate you adding that to the live stream.
Well, I learned from the best. I can't tell you how much you taught me in the space, and you know, everybody out there knows that Lifer is one of the best teachers out there in this space, and he actually cares about you, which you don't see that a lot in crypto, right? You see a lot of people, they care about themselves. You know, they always talking about pumping schemes, and you just can't trust them, right? I can't trust 95% of the people out there. So tell you what, man, I can't say enough about you, Crypto Lifer. Sam, you're my best friend. I love you. But I want to give myself a quick plug, guys. If you want to keep up with this, you know, XRP news and the Ripple versus SC case, follow me on Crypto Music channel. I also just give basically the daily news and analysis on the market every day. I try to put a video every day. I've been doing this for about a month and a half, and I'm just going to plug away and keep doing what I'm doing. But I can't say enough about Crypto Lifer. He motivates me every day to do what I'm doing. And man, just
yeah, check out my buddy's channel, Crypto Muser. If you don't go to that channel, I'm gonna check them out. Hit that like button, subscribe. You know, hit the notification bell on both our channels. You can find out when we post our next videos. And remember, if you came to the channel or that channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Thank you so everyone for being here. Thank you so much for the love, and we are out for the day. Like that, just like he's going there. See what he's doing there? Subscribe, Crypto Muser. And we're out for the day. Everyone have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy your family. I'll be in the groups, keeping everyone up to date with crypto and Bitcoin, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Lifers.